Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Paterson, here again with another video. And have you noticed that something is wrong with the Google logo? Yes, you've heard it from me. There is something wrong with the logo. Or is there? Like a lot of people basically are saying online that the Google logo, the new one with the G, this one here, right, that I'm looking at, is wrong. Well, if you notice, I'm just going to do this for a second and I'm going to try and recreate this in the form of a circle of some sort. So I'm just going to bring out a circle like this. I'm going to center it to here and I'm just going to bring it down so it fits just along the edges of the, oh wait a minute, it's not actually fitting. Okay, so that outside circle isn't actually fitting. You can see here that it goes a bit further in. Also, let's just copy and paste this guide here and let's bring this down here. Okay, so it's doing the same here. Okay, let's find out these other intersecting lines. So let's find out the one from the middle. So we'll just do this and I'll align it horizontally. Okay, that fits perfectly there. So that's pretty good. Okay, what about if we were to create, I don't know, let's try and create a little line here that's going, oh wait, this is looking even weirder. As you can see, this line isn't matched up with this one here. It should be here, right? Let's see what happens when we flip this horizontally. Is this in the middle? Yeah, that's kind of in the middle there, but there's not enough space. Yeah, that looks not too bad. Let's see if this line here is actually fitting over here as well, so it actually fits within the cross section of these colors. Okay, so here we have a mapped out version of the Google logo. Now, the thing that people are saying that is wrong with this logo is the fact that it's not lining up. So you can see here that this red part here, it should line up, this yellow part should be here. People are more annoyed or a bit confused at the fact of why it's not a perfect circle. I mean, like, how hard can it be to make a perfect circle, right? Well, for anyone who's actually thinking this kind of thing, this isn't an accident. This isn't some sort of intern that got it completely wrong when designing the logo. This was intentional and this was on purpose. Let me take you back to the time when I made a video about the Nintendo Switch logo. The actual two Joy-Cons that make the Nintendo Switch logo weren't centered as they should be. There was actually a bit of unbalance in there. Also, the circles weren't symmetrical. It wasn't actually a symmetrical logo. And the reason behind that was optical balance. Now, I remember seeing an image floating around, like literally when this logo came up, looking at all these things here going a bit weird and why it's not a perfect circle. And there's a few good reasons as to why this G in the Google logo isn't perfect. And I'm going to show you why and tell you why. In typography, I'm going to make a new artboard, but basically in typography, we see a lot of the time this word or this term called overshooting. Overshooting is basically where the curved parts of the type, like here, overshoot from the actual guidelines that are used to create the type consistent. Mathematically, that's wrong, but optically, it's correct. Okay, so here we have the actual guidelines for the Futura font, if you're going to look at it. Now, as you can see here, the E is perfectly centered to these guidelines. So you can see that this part here does not overshoot there. And also you can tell that it's actually working because it's matching with the L as well. And if we go down here, it looks pretty similar. Now, if we go over here to the G, for example, why is it going above this line? Well, the reason is it's called overshooting, and we do it to compensate, to optically compensate it being a bit weird. So optically compensate the size so it looks like it's the same size. I can also show you, like, from the O, the other G and the O, but I can also show you about the E. This part here is not directly in the center. It's actually, as you can tell, this is the center line, not in the center at all. There is less space up here than there is down here. And I can show you that really easily by just mapping this out very quickly like so. You can see there's not enough space. There's a bit less space up here than there is down here. And the reason behind that, again, is optical stabilizing. So you're stabilizing the type and you're also making sure it's balanced. Typography is a complete illusion. The whole idea behind creating fonts and the skill that there is because it's an illusion. It's not just mathematics you have to keep in mind, it's actually the fact that you've got to make sure that it looks nice, and sometimes that's done optically. So when it comes to the Google logo, and the reason why it's actually circular and not so circular here, and it doesn't follow this, is because of optical stabilization. So I call it optical stabilizing, a lot of other people call it other things, but it's basically optical balancing. You're balancing it out and making it look decent without just focusing on the maths behind it. And because this G in the Google logo is a G and it's an actual letter form made into a logo mark, they've got to make sure that it's balanced, perfectly balanced. So I'm going to show you what the text would look like here if it wasn't optically changed in comparison to if it is optically changed. And let's bring the size down. There we go. It's perfectly on the line. Now, doesn't that look really strange? It looks as if the O and the G's and these round things here are much smaller than the G and the L and the E. These two stand out way too much. But here, these look perfectly balanced. Another example that we could give you here is the thickness of these lines. So you can see here that these two are perfectly thick. Now, let's take this thickness here and translate it up to here. Oh, wow. Isn't that not thick at all? Same with this. If I was to bring this here, rotate this, the thickness isn't the same all the way around. And the reason for this, again, is optical balancing. And people make sure that these things happen to make it look decent. So you can see it's not all mathematics. It's actually to do with the eyes and the way that our brains perceive what we're reading. And it makes it a bunch easier for us to read and to see these things properly as letter forms if we follow by these kind of rules. So let's try and create the perfect G logo and see what happened. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and bring this down a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of this one. Okay, I'm going to cut these to about here as well. Okay, so there we have the G just there. And then let's go ahead and cut some of these lines out as well. Why not? Cut these two, make these two a little path, eh? And if we're going to go ahead and reverse this around because we want to make it like mathematical and all that sort of stuff, we just rotate it by 90 degrees to reflect it. And then from here, that's going to look a bit strange. But use that as a guide. Then we can go ahead and, you know, cut these two. Cut them as well. Get rid of them. There we go. Okay. So there it is. All I need to do now is just merge them two together. Let's copy some colors, eh? So we've got this. Then we've got this yellow one, this green one, and this blue one. Okay, so let's have a little side-by-side comparison of this logo right here. So as you can see, the first thing that I notice about this logo here is that it looks better quality because it's been vectorized, but it sticks out way too much over here. Over here, you can see that it doesn't stick out way too much. Interesting. And you can see here how they've actually changed the way that the logo is to make it more balanced. You see here that I've used the actual coordinates of the G down here, or the actual angles of different things. It looks kind of strange. It can work, I think, but it looks better, in my humble opinion, over here with this one. And the reason is because of stabilizing it. It's using the colors in certain ways that stand out. So there you have it, guys. That is the reason behind Google's logo being weird, and you're not to worry, just learn from it. Look at these logos, and if you see something weird, question as to why and see whether it was intentional or an accident, because most of the time it's going to be intentional from these major companies. These aren't mistakes. These are things that we need to learn as people who do logo design. So just like how this would look weird, and it kind of does look weird, these little lows, and these ones look good, we have to learn how to overshoot and to optically balance our logo designs so it looks good for the naked eye. Another funny thing I want you guys to know is if you look at this logo, it kind of looks like an oval. This one doesn't. Yet it doesn't fit a normal circle. That's stabilizing your logo right there. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to me down below, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you soon.